What he does best after sadly having to miss the Masters.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other good thing, he just looks fit, healthy, happy, walking out to a big smile. So that chapter in his the same issue yesterday after testing. Anyway, it's Mark Davis, who has been a good player for a long time, of course. Not looking to exploit any rustiness.
He has been a very good player down the years, Davis, hasn't he? 20 ranking event quarterfinals, did in the car park as he goes in off.
Mark Davis 5.
But after a bit of a regard tonight. Now ranked down at 45 in the world as a result of that.
Quite nice to see a best of 9 event, isn't it? We don't get those very often now.
10 years ago. And responsible for the huge success that it's been down the years. One of the biggest crowds, of course, at that great arena in Berlin this year. It's not to be, but of course all of these players just grateful to be playing, period, in these troubled times. So first blood to the...
Great overview of the table from that angle, I always think. You can see which red he'll be playing on. It's the right-hand red of the black, the low one.
7.
Yes, of course, he was missed at the Masters, clearly, and as was Jack Lisowski. We can never know whether it would have...
23.
Well, that was a stretch for him. That, you know, is terrific. We have some great winners. Everyone that's won it has deserved it. But it was strange that this year, and in the qualifiers for this. But Judd survived it.
31.
The final. Another one ticked off. In exactly the same way as though it was the World Championship.
Oh, that wasn't the best of shots. And as a consequence, the break ends. So that was... I still thought he'd get the red, but...
It's over Ben Hancorn and then a final frame victory over Zhao Guodong.
Almost a better player now than he was earlier in his career, I think, or certainly not now, but when he reached the English final and one or two of the other achievements that you mentioned, the 6 reds, take lightly.
Yes, and the year he made the English Open final, he handsomely beat
well, he's put a bit of... Not particularly close, was it? And once you miss those, with the reds, as I mentioned, very invitingly placed, then...
1.
And with Trump coming back to the table already. And the misread to the left centre, which would have frustrated him. It's one he'd normally get.
9.
World Grand Prix just prior to Christmas against Jack Lisowski, but the irony that they both... But the tour continues, and Judd is back now, and, you know, if he's to pick the German Masters up again.
Having, of course, won a record 6 last season, who's to say that record might not be under threat?
29. 36.
Yeah, I think he said that he really, I guess, sitting watching it on the TV, isolating, then you
42.
maybe can get your appetite for playing again, doing what he does best. Be interested to see who could beat him this week with the tournament. He's kind of cut up a little bit, hasn't it? Bowed out already. 4 top 16 players left in is all there is.
48.
Get from black to yellow. Well, not quite, but it's a reasonably encouraging start. He did think. So all things considered, a good start. And what a shot that was. How on earth did he pop that along that cushion?
Well, that is the thing about Trump. OK, the frame's long since won, but he is, and he does it with extraordinary regularity.
Trump 57, Mark Davis.
Winner to play Joe Perry in the round of 16, who won comfortably earlier on today against Dwayne Jones, who a couple of years ago made the semi-finals of this tournament. But
Foul.
Not the enough that he was looking for there. Didn't lead 3-1 and didn't win the match. Understandably, was not amused by all that you should win, and even tougher.
yeah, at one stage he needed 3 snookers in that frame, didn't he, Dominic Dale? Cover from the frustration of doing so.
Sloppy. The game punishes you, it always does.
Joe Trump 16.
I think that's one of the ways that Trump has improved.
Go was treated to a masterclass from Mark Williams. That was the season, of course, that Williams went on to win his 3rd world title. And
I think that day you've just mentioned actually was the it was the day when we all realised that Mark Williams was back. I think about 20 minutes of play. At that point we realised that great players don't just disappear if they're good enough.
Jan Bingtao to win the Northern Ireland Open in the final frame. He'd won the 6 Reds event going into the World Championship, which 12 months previously he hadn't even qualified for and was seriously...
12.
But this is a very strong start from Trump. Got in once himself 2 or 3 frames down.
It's a part of his game that's always been very strong, playing through bulk in one way or another round for Reds. And he plays a kind of snooker that you don't really see it. It's sort of it really is something special. Just dragged it to the bottom jaw.
1.
It's rogue applause, wasn't it? Not fake applause. And he won't get any applause for that shot. And if he does, there's something going wrong. Because that was...
Mark Davis 8.
And ahead.
1.
That's nice, landing in behind that red.
6.
It's a bit at one each, I should say, but he made absolutely nothing of that.
14. 22.
Pocketed by Judd Trump. It's not been proved expensive.
29.
By and large, he looks to be queuing very well. Although the 3-time ranking event winner this season, of course.
36.
She won for a 3rd year running, beating Ronnie O'Sullivan for the 3rd straight year in the title match before Christmas, the World Grand Prix, when Lazowski put together a furious burst of brilliance, but necessary to get over the winning line.
53.
Well, he's coasting, really, I think, here
56.
at the moment, without playing as we know he
60.
can. He's
65. 71. 78 in the frame.
A 7-5 the target. Joe Perry awaits the winner.
Judd not attempting to get in behind a bolt colour, but ways on the cards. But he's negotiated the comeback shot pretty well. In fact, it's very well played from Mark Davis. That's very safe. Probably, in some ways, an even bigger part of the game. At the standard of long potting that someone like Judd Trump is at, surely that can't be anywhere near reaching.
Foul and a miss.
It goes. Goodness me. Well, I'll tell you,
1.
that escape one cushion.
A bad shot, but it'll only be significant if Davis can do what he hasn't.
9.
That's okay.
15.
So, with a couple of frames gone, red scattered in the middle of the table here. Even that shot, you can see a couple of red go to the right middle from there.
23.
More than 250 career centuries. He's made a couple of 147s. In fact, he made
31.
And says it was not really going that way.
39.
Might open the floodgates for more players. Oh dear. Well, that is the kind of shot you play when you know you should have made more of the chance.
50 behind, but the table looking pretty inviting for a handy counter-attack here after Davis lost prime position and took on that very tricky red.
I'll be honest, at no point did I even consider that Mark Davis would go for that red. The one that left over the left corner, it was too thin.
Had ground to a halt with failure to get the position he wanted.
It's easy to do what he did there. That looks very tight, doesn't it? And only just went. I think he could only pot it off the top jaw, and that's exactly how much of the black he hit.
The black on, but very well executed in the end.
Well. 18.
And Joe O'Connor has the first frame against Mark Joyce.
25.
Well, he hasn't pushed any. Do it off of a red.
32.
Might not wait until his next colour.
It's one of his great assets, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think. But
40.
it's a question of the shot he plays on this pink. He might play. He's a bit unlucky with that little kiss, actually.
Judd Trump, 46.
Well, he was guilty of overhitting that at that speed. It was always going to make the pot more difficult. Position like this, I'm not saying he's in a better position to beat Judd Trump because he's playing the world #1, but in the end he just hit it. It's a very poor shot. I mean, how did he end up playing that shot after all that thought? Bad shot, bad thinking.
1.
And hitting the red in the way he did from...
Can relax a little and hope to play his best snooker, which he'll certainly need if he's to...
5.
Pace here. Now I think he's under, again, a little more pressure on this next shot than he might have been.
Wow, what a fluke. Wow, it looked as though it wouldn't cost him.
Getting the green safe, though this frame is incident packed. Now he's missed. Could be a free ball.
Mark Davis,
It is.
13.
You're not going to get a better chance on this one, wherever the ball's ended up.
Well, the first 2 frames, Davis. But then after Trump left him in again, what a chance he's let slip. Just 1 frame behind, it looks like being 3.
10. $15.
Yes, as you say.
21.
Well, Judd Trump has made
Judd Trump.
errors in all 3 frames. Breaking off in frame 4, knowing he should only be 1 behind, instead it's 3. And Trump already within 2 frames of victory.
The previous, and he had chances in a couple of, in both of the first 2.
1.
This is where tenacity, mental strength, call it what you like. If he can win this frame, then he's still got a chance in this match.
13. $21.
There's plenty of loose reds at this stage to get himself back on board, if you like. Because he might try that.
28.
This time very straight on the black. Now, will he try to get the bunch open now that the... So he decides against it.
$44.
Lost the previous frame from a long lead. The frame is not over by any means until he does
50.
pull a couple more. I think he's okay. It's a
56.
got to play on that here. I think,
64.
now, as you point out, I think he decided that it didn't go.
Mark Davis, 70.
Bittersweet this really for David. Some sort of chance on the other side of the interval if he can finish this one off.
Yeah, like you were saying, I mean, one snooker is not a end of frame by any means. Tell that to Stephen. Where the balls are. That pink being over the pocket isn't really in anyone's favour. Certainly not in trumps. If this goes in, it is frame over.
One.
Into a position where he could lay a snooker.
8.
Well, that's right. Now that the pink's away. Well, that was, as they always play down to 1 red for obvious reasons. Less balls to hit. Anyway, that's a terrible shot.
Trump 15.
And just one.
But still unable to kill it off.
Yes, he seems to be lacking confidence, Mark Davis. Listen, he's playing the world #1. So he's a little rusty because these qualifiers are played back in November for this event.
Still level at 1-1. And Joe O'Connor now 2-0 up on Mark Joyce.
Judd Trump 8.
Here he's playing to lay into them.
And that red surely sets the seal on this 4th frame. Well, better late than never, really, for Mark Davis. But it was a good break of 70 in the context of what had gone on previously in this frame.
8.
So he'll go into the interval feeling a little bit better than he did after the 3rd frame.